welcome to the Future Billionaire Podcast, brought to you by TFB Productions. Today, we're excited to bring you a very special guest, one of our good friends, Angel Gonzalez.
Yes, that's right, man. Thank you, guys. It's an honor, and thank you for having me on. I really like what you guys got going on here. It's really, really cool. It's very neat, and I'm impressed, man. I like it. I like it a lot.
No, thank you for coming. Yeah, we're very excited to pick your brain, and we have a couple questions we want to ask you.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I'll be happy to answer. Anything I could help with, whatever questions you guys might have, and we can get right into it.
Yeah, no, I figured that we'd had the conversation here just because I know that you have a lot going on, a lot of businesses that you're building, and I think that it's the new year, and we start off with somebody with big goals and big dreams, and we're happy to be a part of it with you. So
yeah, no, stoked for this year, man. 2025 is going to be huge. Last year we had exponential growth, a lot of different things going on, dialed in a lot of processes, and I'm just excited, man. We're off to a great start. We got a lot of cool things going on, a lot of cool projects that we're taking on. And yeah, man, just excited to keep the foot on the gas this year. That's right, man. Yeah, no stopping, non-stop.
we met Angel. We saw his stuff on social media. So if you don't know Angel, go check out his stuff. We're going to put all the links in the description. But yeah, bro, for the people that don't know you or are just seeing you for the first time, give them a little description, I guess, of what you...
Yeah, man. My name is Angel Gonzalez. I'm 27 years old. I've been in the real estate game for about 7 years, since I was 20 years old. I run Capital Advisors and Associates with my business partner, Josh Brown. We're 50-50 partners. We launched Capital Advisors about 2 years ago, give or take. I'm also a real estate investor. I take on a lot of my own projects as well. I'm the founder of Stellar Structures and Development. It's a new construction company, mainly focused on, single family residences. And yeah, man, and of course I have my holding company, but those are the two companies that I run now. All around, real estate investor.
We want to start the year off right, and so I figured, you relate to a lot of the kids in our generation. Give us a little something. What's the secret sauce, bro?
You guys have probably heard this quote. I'm a huge fan of Alex Hormozi, so I'll probably reference him a lot, throughout this interview podcast. He has a quote that it's very, very famous. It goes around Instagram. It's the magic you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding. If you asked all the people in my office, man, I'm big on preaching, just being relentless and, no skipping the hard work. There's no secret sauce. There's no shortcuts. There's no overnight success. It's about facing the mundane tasks, right in the face, right in, in its face, and just pretty much, yeah, man, just taking on the tough work. There's no skipping the hard work. You gotta go through it and just staying consistent, as best as you can. Especially in this game of real estate, man, it's a game of repetition, so just overcoming the adversity, man, it's a lot of rejection. So you just kind of, being numb, in that aspect and just, keep moving forward, right? Yeah, it's pretty much it, man. Yeah, just, of course, we can get technical and get into it, specifically as far as, what I'm referring to. But for the most part, to keep it simple, it's just staying consistent, man. Discipline is key.
All right. Well, a lot of people know Angel, the investor, the entrepreneur, but give us a little more about yourself. What's your upbringing? What's your story?
Yeah, man. I'm blessed that, God allowed me to live several different, walks of life. I grew up, in a middle class home. I had everything, we had everything we needed, I guess you could say. And then went through a rough patch. So I was able to live and experience what it was, struggling to, make ends meet, so I think that's where my drive comes from mainly, right? Has never wanted to see myself in a similar position, right? Every kid. But yeah, man, I got, 2 siblings. I got a big brother and a big sister, so I'm the baby. I don't know if you guys have siblings, but you know what to say about the youngest in the family.
The troublemaker or something like that.
Honestly, yeah. The youngest. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's like
the ambitious one, though.
Exactly. Yeah, the one that comes to save the day or whatever. Yeah, man. So, my big brother, went to prison for a long time. My dad went to prison for a long time. My sister went about her way. So I grew up just me and my mom, we lived on Section 8, so I knew what it was like, what the struggle was like, knowing what it was to get, the lights shut off and the water shut off and, things like that. It's rough and it's not easy, So living through that, it's just, it just made me, just have this, I guess, drive, to not ever... I guess growing up around a lot of people that I didn't want to be like, if I could keep it simple, And yeah, man, so doing everything in my power and everything, on my end to try to avoid that and, make the right moves, take the right steps forward so I can, make sure that, I'm in a position where I'm secure, I'm financially stable, and nobody in my family ever has to worry about living, or experiencing something, similar.
Hey, Angel, you're 27. You got 3 businesses going for you.
Yeah.
When did this start? I guess, when did you start this whole?
Yeah. So when I came up on blue collar, man. So I was a blue collar worker. I did renewable. I was in the renewable industry for a really long time. I'm sure you guys have seen the wind turbines on the side of the road, I would assume, right? So I built them, man, from the ground up. I got my foot in the door. I was an electrician at first. I got my foot in the door, and I guess made a name for myself in the industry, through, pretty much, man, hard work, I guess you could say, showing up, pushing forward, punctuality, just showing up and showing out, right? And I climbed the ladder in that industry. I was a part of what they call a top out crew. Now, you guys probably wouldn't know that, but it's the crew that, everybody wants to be a part of. So, yeah, man, stayed busy year round for like 5 years straight, traveling in the United States. I've been, not in every single state, but probably about 30 something states. I've been on over 30 some different wind farms, building these things from the ground up, man. I do foundation to all the way to the top, right to the blades. And I was making really, really great money, so I was able to leverage very well. If you guys don't know what leverage is, it's pretty much just secure loans, right? And my income was very, very stable. I remember I was on YouTube once, man, and I was scrolling and I saw a video about house hacking. I don't know if you guys know what house hacking is, but it's where you buy a piece of multifamily real estate, you occupy one unit, you live in one unit, and you lease the other ones out, and then you kind of live for free, you could say, or you make a little bit of extra income on the side.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Multifamily, fourplex.
Fourplex, man, exactly. So when I was 21 years old, I applied for a mortgage because I had already like 2 or 3 years of work history, and I qualified for about $500,000, man. And yeah, I almost let, the intrusive thoughts win. I almost, was almost impulsive about it, and I almost bought a really big house. But luckily, through watching this YouTube video, I knew that it was the right step to take as far as looking into, something like an apartment complex, right, a multifamily.
In your future, this is something like you're going to start compounding from this investment, right?
Yeah, stepping stone, whatever it is you want to call it. And it was also sexy. And it wasn't that popular at the time, not as popular as it is now.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't even really make sense to buy a fourplex unless you're, very well off. Excuse me. But yeah, man. So I bought a fourplex with an FHA loan, 3.5% down. I never really lived in one unit. I had a buddy live in one unit because there's an FHA rule, where you have to occupy the unit for at least a year.
Okay.
I never occupied it. I had my buddy live in it. The water bill was under my name in case they ever came to check if I actually lived in it, because I was traveling in all over the United States. And
how did that go? Was it cash flowing?
It was cash flowing great, man. At the time, interest rates were extremely low, 3 to 4. I think I had like a 3%, something somewhere like in what year again? This is probably 2019, 2019. Yeah, man. Yeah, right before COVID, correct, exactly. I bought it at the time. It was like a year old, so it was almost a new build for $293,000, which is unheard of now, right? So I took on it. I was cash flowing great, like $1,500 a month. And then I kind of got addicted, you could say, because I was living life on the road. I had an RV. I didn't need to buy a house or anything. So after this fourplex, I was cash flowing great. I had tenants and everything. It was going good. I started buying single family houses because that's when the prices started kind of, climbing, and it didn't make much sense to buy a fourplex. And so I picked up about 5 single family residences throughout my career in the wind industry. And I built up enough cash flow to be able to sustain myself. So this fourplex was making like $1,500, and then all the other single family houses were making about $400 or $500 a pop. So it's not much, right? It's not life changing money, but it was enough for myself. It was enough to pay my mortgage at the time, my truck payment, and I decided to go all in, man. And I went all in, and it was the best decision that I've ever made. And I dived full time into real estate. I knew I had no other option. And
so not about that like single family unit. We can break down to the real estate kind of sector of things. Like what about that single family unit makes, I guess, a more sexy or more appealing investment than the fourplex?
I think the fourplex is still much sexier, but at the time it just didn't make sense. The numbers didn't pencil out and the numbers didn't crunch, as opposed to the single family where I was able to secure, and I bought a bunch of houses that were like 120, 130 grand, something like that. Put fat down payments down like 10, 15% at a time. So the note to service was only about $900 to $1,000 when I could lease these houses off for like $1,500, $1,600 each, right? 3-4 bedroom houses. So I think it was it was easier to come across good deals, and at the time, for single family as opposed to multifamily. So I don't think it was that I preferred the single family route. I just think it was at the time it's what made the most sense.
Okay, I get
yeah, man. And I mean, now of course, I don't know if you want me to continue getting into this.
Yeah. So what we get really into is want to ask, like, as far as education wise, like, did you go to college at all?
I did, bro. Yeah, I went to college. Yeah, man. I went to college for about a year and a half. I think I have an associate's degree. I don't even know. I think I do. Yeah, but I dropped out. I was gonna get my bachelor's degree in business administration. I went to UTRGV. I took a few courses. I went to STC first. I got the associates there, and then I moved on to UTRGV, and then I took out to work. Yeah, man. I discovered that there was these guys that were blowing their money, spending it stupidly, working in the oil rigs and the refineries, and up north, as you guys may probably know, I'm sure you guys got buddies that are doing the same thing. And these guys were paying 6 figures. And I mean, I kind of got smart and I said, hey, well, if I implement this and if I take that route, but I'm actually smart with my money, maybe I could, make something of this. And
like you said, you could have built a huge house.
I could have, yeah. And I almost bought a really nice house and $500,000.
I also had an extra, like this.
Yeah. I did. Don't get me wrong. There's a balance. I had a nice truck and everything, right? I mean, but there's a balance, you don't want to overdo it out there. I mean, this idea of seeking validation or, seeing what's on social media. I mean, we can get caught up in this loop of, I guess comparing ourselves to others, and comparison is a thief of joy. So you see all these people with cool, nice, flashy things. And of course it's human, it's human nature. We want the same thing, but it's about delaying gratification and, knowing what you truly want and looking more so, into the future, what's in your best interest for the future and not today,
Yeah. No, yeah, and people are always, I guess you can say, seeking the instant gratification.
Yeah, man, the most definitely
instant success, or what's the next quick way to get rich? And
yeah,
I see a lot of successful people saying, "Why does it got to be quick?" You know what I mean? It's not going to happen overnight. And that's a lot. What are our third, fourth guests? You know Shadi Latani?
I do. I know of him. I've never met him, but I know his name.
Real estate developer.
For sure. Yeah. I just purchased 2 single-family residence lots in a new subdivision. They just have, it's called Dawkins Cove.
That's his subdivision?
Yeah, he has that subdivisions. Yeah. Right. I deal with Dan, which is, I think, I don't know, like a partner guy.
Yeah, it's a partner. Shabi will say on our episode that that's his employee, but they're like best friends.
Oh, I love it.
They started whenever they were young, and
love that.
They have a really good story too. So
I love it, man. Yeah, Dan's a cool dude. I can only imagine, how Shabi is. I've never, had the opportunity to meet him, but I bought, some lots from them recently. So I know of him. I know everything he got going on.
Yeah.
Very admiring, man. Super cool.
Okay. So back to the whole real estate thing.
Yeah, son.
I'm super interested in it.
For sure.
I'm going to turn 22 this year, and a big goal of mine, I hope we can look back on this, is like, I want to get a first 4-plex unit.
For sure.
If the numbers look right, you know what I mean? And I know what you mean. I have to live in one unit, rent out the other, but maybe there's some loopholes. And
for sure. So I might get a little bit of heat for this, man. But I mean, to be super, super transparent, if I could go back in time and, when I was 21 years old, and of the 4-plex, of course, I don't regret it one bit, because I mean, it's what eventually allowed me to have exponential growth, when I exited. So I ended up selling that piece of real estate. Maybe we can get into the year in a little bit. And that's what I'm going to have from my exponential growth. But the single family side of things, I was picking up all these, little houses, and I was dumping, $15,000, $25,000 at a time to pick up these, in savings to pick up these houses. And I noticed that I was asset rich but cash poor. So, not literally cash poor, right? But I mean, I was dumping most of my money into, buying these houses, which also turned out,
you've got a lot of equity, right?
I have a lot of equity now, even more, right? Now that, I've banked on the appreciation. So I don't regret one bit, right? But it wasn't like chasing money. It was like, sure, you're making a little bit of cash flow, a couple $100 a month, but what truly is that going to, give you, right? So now that I've discovered the game of flipping real estate, the game of being an agent, right? I mean, I'm not really focused on being an agent now, but, the potential that, being an agent has, if you have, liquidity, if you have money to play with as far as marketing, so on and so forth. Also wholesaling real estate. I tapped into wholesaling real estate as well. I made really, really good money doing that, and flipping real estate, right? So instead of focusing and dumping all of my money into trying to acquire these, properties, man, I would have probably just invested in education at the time and started flipping real estate, and making, dumping $20,000 into a property here and making a 200% return, $60,000. as opposed to, trying to buy a piece of real estate and cash flowing, $200-300 a month. It would take me a few years to recoup that 20,000. I can make it, on the front end almost immediately, right, in 2 or 3 months.
So for those people, I guess, watching at home and ourselves even, you would say, I guess that's I know that's what people are looking at now these days. Single family, flipping homes. And
yeah, you could do it with multifamily as well, though, man. I mean, if you find what I meant to say is, like, if you have the liquidity and if you have cash, I would invest it in maybe marketing or education, and yeah, maybe flipping real estate. I don't want to highlight single family because you could do multifamily as well.
But that was the route, kind of
more so flipping real estate. Assigning contracts or being an agent. That's kind of what I meant to say. But just because you can have, the cash on cash return is just a lot greater, and it's actual life changing money, as opposed to trying to build a small portfolio, and trying to cash flow a couple $100 a month.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
No, I've been hearing the same thing, I guess, with fourplex at least, that it's more of a rich man's game.
You could say.
Somebody like us, I mean, I'm just dabbling into the real estate game. So sure, for my first time,
right,
building that savings at NASDAQ.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, did you get your real estate license before you made that investment? Or
no, man. No. So I was an investor before, and then I turned into an agent. When I went full time into real estate, I was, still kind of dipping my toes into several different, because, man, there is an endless, that's why I love real estate. There's so many different avenues you can take. It's almost overwhelming, right?
That's what Shelby said in the videos.
Oh, Hitty.
Such a big pine.
Man, you can do so many different things, man. It's never ending, right? So, through dipping my toes into all these different, avenues, so I could figure out which one I wanted to kind of stick to, which niche I wanted to stick to and kind of stick with. I ended up becoming an agent because I knew that I could bank on the commissions, right? And it was an easy way for me to, at least have some sort of active income. Because at the time, I went all in. Sure, I had some, savings. Don't get me wrong. I didn't do it, stupidly. I made sure I had reserves because I expected. There's an industry standard in real estate that when you first step into the game, you won't make any money, for the first 6 months, right? That wasn't the case for me. I mean, I consider myself as, highly
an outlier.
You could say an outlier, right? I mean, I became obsessed, right? So, I mean, I got my first commission check, like, within the first month or something like that, right?
You already had property underneath your belt.
Oh, yeah. I had a small portfolio. I had the fourplex, and I had 5 single family residences, and I had my personal home as well, my homestead. So I was fine, and then I tapped into, I dumped a lot of money. I mean, I spent tens of thousands of dollars into education. I hired the best mentors. And this is something I want to highlight for you guys, man, that you guys are really young as well, man, is, proximity is power. And if you can get, close to individuals that are operating at a high level, and you're fortunate enough to be able to cut the check, of course, do that. But if you're not, I mean, find some sort of way to add value to that individual. I mean, if it's within your city, go to them, try to add value, and give up some of your learning for earning. That's a saying that I say in the office. And I think a lot of people in our office have done that. They provided value to me. I still consider my business as a startup, so I could use all the help that I can get. And I mean, these people bring tremendous value to the table. And in return, they get to be a part of something rare, right? They get to be a part of individuals that are actually doing deals, and they get to learn and be a part of them and be in that atmosphere,
Yeah, because we did see something the other day saying that there's not that many shortcuts to success, but one of them is having the right mentors.
For sure, man, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, mentorship is the shortcut to success, at least that they say. Because and that's why we started this whole podcast, because if you can get in the room, pick the brains of the people that have already done it,
that's right.
Maybe you could get there a little bit quicker than they did, without a doubt, because you're telling them your failures, and so that's something that we can look out for.
For sure. Yeah, all it is a knowledge gap. No, I mean, that's literally all it is, man. So if you can, again, if you're fortunate enough and you can, cut that check, pay for some sort of mentorship so you could learn, whatever it is that you need to learn, because again, it's just a knowledge gap, and then you can apply and execute, of course, right? That's the second, there's a formula, right? And part of that formula is, of course, to execute and to actually implement it.
Can you drop some names, like who you hired, or
sure,
yeah, mentors that you?
Yeah, most definitely. So, I don't know if you guys have heard of. You probably haven't heard of these names, but in my industry, because I pursued the wholesaling route, and in the wholesale space, there's a lot of cool, marketing techniques and marketing strategies that they use that I see that real estate agents don't use, right? So, I took that route instead. I hired people like, Nick Perry, Josh and Tiffany High, flew out to Ohio. I went out I went to a bunch of different seminars. I don't know if you guys have heard of, Turn Up the Hustle, Charles Hernandez, Uncle Charles. If you guys have heard of those names. Who else? I'm trying to think. I mentioned Nick Perry, Josh Tiffany Iron, Eric Kine. You guys should look that dude up. Eric Kine's huge. I hired him as well. So a lot of different, people, so I could get to that next level.
Not to bash anybody, but is there like anybody that like you should avoid, or like you seem like
Yeah, man. Most definitely. There's some names out there. I'll probably off camera. I'll let you guys know who I did, man. Unfortunately, I spent some money on, a few, names out there that I didn't really gain much knowledge from or value. And unfortunately, I paid the price for it.
Because the last thing you want to do is spend all this money on flights, hotel. You go to December,
Right.
spend.
That's right. Yeah, I know for sure.
Well, somebody that we definitely would like to highlight is Pineda, right?
Oh, right, Pineda, man. Yeah, for sure.
No, he gave us a shot, man, and
Love that.
he originally gave us this whole idea. I don't think we've ever said this on the pod yet, but they had a little section, a little podcast, 1 minute podcast.
Oh, okay.
Right outside.
Backdrop.
Yeah. Right outside the events.
Okay.
And Alex is telling me, hey, let's do it. Let's do the podcast. This is about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And from there, the podcast was born. But we went there as a guest, and Pineda said himself, I mean, the guy, he's accumulated over 1 billion views.
Yeah, man.
And it's insane. He was like, yeah, the best advice I could give, like, to my 21-year-old self is, like, start a podcast. Like, that was the best good John.
Yeah.
And
you guys are doing it, man. Y'all are taking action.
so I did it. And this past year in 2024, it was a full circle moment because Pineda was looking for volunteers at 2024 WellsCon. The following year.
Okay.
That we had gotten the idea, made the podcast. I guess they saw our work. We asked we submitted an application to volunteer, and they hit us up. So we went the following year as like a staff on there. Taking photos with our equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
We were backstage and everything. Oh, dude, that's it. It's like, so Tim Grover spoke. And
I know Tim, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Dude, I love that, man.
There you were.
Oh, dude, I'm flying out in, I'm traveling towards the end of the month. I'll be out of the country for like 2 weeks. So when I get back February 7th, I'm flying out to Scottsdale, and I'll be in Phoenix with Andy Elliott, a whole bunch of cool people, man. I'm excited. I'm so for that.
Yeah, no, those guys are definitely on our list, right?
Yeah, I've seen them live. Andy Elliott specifically, man. It's crazy, man. He's already recording energy. It's a different type of energy, man. It's good.
No, but it's good, bro. Seriously, and we're so thankful that they gave us the opportunity, bro, because it was like once in a lifetime. I mean, like, people pay thousands of dollars to say, like tens of thousands of dollars to sit at the front and like go network, and it's like you said, having something where you can return the value.
Yep, that's right.
And get into those rooms. And so it was probably 2 or 3 months into our first few episodes where Alex and I were like, hey, dude, we got the equipment.
Yeah.
Let's just go and like start a little production company and like, serve in that circumstance. And so, no, but dude, it's been good. The podcast has been great. We're, super happy to have you on.
No, thank you guys for having me on, man. Really, it's an honor, man. If you guys want to touch on any other topic, man, I'd be happy to.
We're at the fourplex area. You got a single family, and you've been flipping those for
I've been flipping our real estate recently, man. Even land, though. I mean, restaurant at one point. Just real estate in general.
Where's an area you think people should be focusing on right now?
I mean, I think, any big market, I think there's opportunity everywhere. I mean, the Rio Grande Valley, I feel like it's still untapped. People are slowly coming in, right? I mean, but I don't think it's oversaturated at all. So I think there's still a lot of opportunity here. I'm only focused in my backyard. So I'm only here in the Valley, man. I don't really do any marketing anywhere else.
Well, I seen your page. You have like some in Alton area, some in...
Yeah, man. Yeah, pretty much here, man. I mean, I try to stay in the metro area. I did some work in Wesco that I'll probably stay out of now, right? Learn some lessons. Mission, McAllen, Edinburgh, Far, I'd say, stick with those cities. And
well, actually, we have a property, me and my dad, we have a property. Oh, see it, Wesco.
Love that, man.
Right off of the exit 161 before the Jumbo Inn.
Okay.
That frontage. So we have the frontage, and we also have the backsides and 8plex.
Okay.
Commercial. See, but it's all commercial. And
yeah, frontage is different for sure.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out right now what we want to do with it. We're subdividing it, so maybe sell the back half. Yeah, I'm really interested in learning what you have to say about the city of Wesco, but like what we should learn.
Yeah, man. I think, I guess I got a little bit too aggressive. Somebody sent me some deals, and I kind of wrote these properties. a little too confidently going based off of, more of a McAllen market, right? Or McAllen metro area. And I guess you could say, I still came out on top. I didn't lose, right? So that's a good thing. I think as it goes growing, man, I think just you make money when you buy, right? That's what I would emphasize mainly, because you can, have a slam dunk deal, but yeah, just the important thing is that you buy right. I think that's the highlight. And as far as your property, would love to consult you on it. Good advice. Yeah, man.
For sure. Should have all the specs.
Yeah, man. Run some comparables. Look at the surrounding properties to see what everything's been selling for. With that.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about this educational platform.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm launching something really, really soon. And of course, it comes from my roots, right? Because it's something that, I spent 5 years of my life doing. And it's called the Hard Hat Millionaire. And there's a lot of educational platforms out there as far as, real estate. But I want to focus on the niche of the blue collar, industry, right? Blue collar workers. Not opposed to, of course, taking on any, people that, are hungry, right? Without a doubt. But yeah, man. So this educational platform that I'm going to be launching this year, it's called Hard Hat Millionaire, and it's just a real estate, platform so people can learn how to transition from their, active and current, job, whether it be traveling, labor demanding jobs, that these, you guys know what blue collar is, right? So there's a lot of different trades in the blue collar space, whether you're an electrician, whether you're a pipe fitter, welder. Yeah, man. The list is pretty lengthy. But yeah, man, how they can utilize, their W-2 and their income to slowly transition and make the move into real estate, or at least tap into the game of real estate, man.
Or entrepreneurship.
Or entrepreneurship, for sure.